Hey guys, Feedbags91, and I'm bringing another Steven Universe Theory video. This one I want to talk about Steven's independence. And what do I mean by that? Well, basically, the episodes I've watched for the first season, he was more dependent on the gems. Obviously, when it came to missions and stuff, it seems like Steven was more just wanting to make the gems proud, or maybe more willing to listen to the gems, because it seems like ever since Mirror Gem, this thing has started to mature in Steven where he's like, I'm not sure whether these guys are actually always trying to do the right thing. Well, at least the right thing in his eyes as opposed to the right thing in their eyes. So what I'm basically going to talk about, I'm going to give 3 examples of where Steven was openly or, in a way, defiant to the crystal gems. And I think this is actually leading to a pattern. The first example is obviously Mirror Gem, where he initially wants to tell the other crystal gems about the gem in the mirror. So he goes, tells them, and then after the mirror shows not wanting to go with the gems, and Garnet seems to show the anger and wants to get the mirror back. I think he initially tries to tell Garnet the mirror doesn't want to be with her. And after more arguing, he eventually tries to slap her hand away, accidentally slapping her shades off. And it really showed how when Steven thinks that he knows what the right thing is to do, he's willing, in a sense, to defy the gems. Now, this defiance seemed to have progressed over time, because in this situation, he only kind of tried to slap her hand away and then was obviously sorry for it as he ran away. But in the second situation, the one with Peridot, when she first appears and Steven wants to talk to her, he basically tries to plead with the gems first. He's like, we should talk, and they tell him, nope. And after a while, he finally decides, I'm going to do it. Now, this was a progression from the Mirror Gem, which was more just like a spur of the moment thing. This time it seems that Steven decided, what, I think this is right, and I know that you guys don't want me to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because this does actually seems like a thought process that went through his mind where he's like, I'm going to do it. I don't care what you guys say, in a sense. Wasn't that defiant, but in a sense he was like, I'm going to do it even though you guys don't think I should. Now, the third situation, I think a lot of people may have missed this, but it happens in the episode Catch and Release. After they poof Peridot, Steven first says what was she saying? And Garnet is like, that was just the desperate pleas of a gem. Now, when they get back, Steven almost tells Amethyst what he thinks, what he's thinking in his head basically, but he chooses not to. Now, most people I don't think that most people would see that as an act of defiance, but catch this. The first time he defied them, in Mirror Gem at least, he tried to talk through to them first and tried to convince them the mirror should stay with him. The second time he did it, it was only after a while of trying to convince them, let's talk to her, and then he's like, if you guys aren't listening to me, I'm just going to do it myself, basically, right? This time, he doesn't even give the gems the time of day. He didn't tell them how he thought that she was saying something that made her afraid. Basically, based on his actions, this is what I think the thought process was. I don't think they're going to listen to me. I better do this by myself. That level of thinking means that Steven, when he thinks it's right and he doesn't think that the gems are on board with him, he's willing basically to, in a sense, go and do it by himself without even consulting them. Same thing when Peridot, even though this isn't exactly an example defined, when he saw Peridot take the diamond from the moon base, he decides, let me talk to her myself before consulting the gems. And this level of independence kind of shows that Steven eventually seems like he's going to branch out, where he's kind of thinking for himself instead of just listening to the crystal gems. And he's kind of, I'm talking about when it comes to serious matters, not regular stuff, but for the serious matters even, he's kind of thinking to himself. And it also shows that he's willing to, in a sense, be against the gems when he doesn't agree. Now, my main point of this theory is that I think this is leading to something far more serious. I'm actually thinking, not exactly, but I'm thinking what happens when a very serious matter occurs and Steven and certain other gems don't agree? How far is Steven willing to take this said defiance? Because so far it's just more so been disobeying their orders. But what happens when it's a more serious matter? What level will Steven be willing to take? I think eventually, even if it's just for one episode, we're gonna get a Steven versus either one or maybe multiple crystal gems. I know, and I was actually thinking, was Gem Civil War? Yeah, that's mainly because Marvel Civil War is coming out, and I'm like, Gem Civil War. And I think it'll be a great episode because I think it'll be so good to see like which gems would side with Steven and which gems would side with whoever he's going against. But I think as the homeworld gems and everything becomes more of a thing, that eventually the matters will get more serious, and eventually Steven will, because as we see in past episodes, not agree with either one or multiple crystal gems, and he will either go out on his own, or maybe this will lead to some sort of gem battle where Steven is actually fighting the other crystal gems. We've already seen Pearl and Amethyst fight. So I think that eventually Steven will get to the point where it actually comes down to a physical altercation between the other gems. All right. Now, before I end, I want to ask you guys two questions. First off, do you guys think I'm right about this? Do you guys think that these acts of defiance will eventually progress and Steven will eventually kind of go his own way in a sense, even if it's just for a short while? And two, if a Gem Civil War did happen, who do you think would be on which side? And just to say, for that question, let's just assume that Jasper eventually joins the Crystal Gems, so she can be a part of the equation there. I'm going to tell you who I think. I think that it would be Lapis, Peridot, and Steven. And Jasper's kind of either way. I'm not sure. If Jasper joins their side, I'm not sure which side she'd be on. But she's got either way. I'm going to put her with Garnet's team for now. Against Garnet, Jasper, and Amethyst. And I think Pearl's going to be in the middle. Like, Pearl's going to be like going like, guys, don't fight. That's what I think. If the Gem Civil War did happen, even if it's just one episode, I think that's how the team would be. Anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and may God bless you all.